Two wheels and speed, Top Fuel Harley from Bristol, Tennessee is coming up on this week's episode of Inside Drag Racing.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Inside Drag Racing. We're going to be following some of the most colorful and exciting vehicles in drag racing. Not funny cars, not Top Fuel dragsters, Top Fuel Harleys, believe me. These guys are just nuts. I mean, they got no roll bar, no roll cage, no shoulder harness, no seatbelt. They have a helmet and some leathers. That's the whole story. And probably one of the most colorful people, if you watched this show last year, was Joey Sternati and his wife Rose.
Full vests too, see?
Yeah, they got to have those because of Spider-Man, right?
Yeah,
he started
right.
that whole thing.
Yeah,
right?
so basically it protects our organs, okay? We put valves and push rods out of these things, and it comes at you. I got hit with an intake valve in Vegas. Basically, you can see it ripped right here, okay? There's the intake valve, hit me in the chest, pushed me off the bike, but thank God the vest, I was okay.
All right, now, let's talk about what happened. You were doing a little demonstration downtown Bristol, right?
We were downtown Bristol doing it at the Quaker State and Lube and the Black Wolf Harley-Davidson. They had a little bike event, so we took the bike down there for all the fans to sit on and see what this thing's about, and we fired it up. So we fired up my vibrator, whacked the throttle, all kind of great night. We come back here today, and we're just going a little bit of maintenance, okay? So I turn the motor over, and this thing goes, boo! I go, what the heck's that? Well, how about, that's my intake lifter, okay? So there's a roller supposed to be there, so thanks to the racing gods, it was held together a little bit, and it basically stayed together.
And if it hadn't?
That's very bad. It's an intake lifter, so basically would have destroyed all the motor. Now, we're a low-budget team. Thank God for Fort Myers Marine. We don't have much funding, very little spare parts, so basically, like we said, a little super glue, little heliarc welding, we're back together.
So you're ready to race?
We're ready to run.
Now, you have a disadvantage, though, Joey. You've got the smallest motor. Tell us about that.
Okay, we're allowed up to 200 cubic inches. Right now, this combination is 171 cubic inches. It's a bigger bore, shorter stroke, more efficient is what I believe, sir. I mean, I'm new blood to the sport of Harley-Davidson Top Fuel Racing. I'm a gas man. I have a performance gas shop called Damn Nasty Motors, and I think efficiency is where it's at. I broke the IHRA world record last year at 625 at only 219 because I was getting blown off the bike. But we'll see what we have for him today at the NHRA.
Blown off the bike?
Yeah, there's another. When I went to 625, this bike's been 238, okay? What I was getting is at the 1,000 foot, I was getting blown off the bike where I literally grabbed my hand. This hand came off the grip right here, and I grabbed the spot right here. That saved me every pass. But what we found was happening is my leathers were getting blown up like a balloon. So I was a parachute. So we've done some testing, we got to help some things out, and we're ready for now.
Ron Gladhill running in the mid-sixes. Is that enough?
No. We got to step it up. We've made a couple changes. We're going to try to get a little bit better for first round, and then if we make it past first round, we're going to try and do a little better for second round.
Yeah, because sooner or later you got to face Grimes. These low sixes.
Yep, they're tough. They're probably the best out here, and we outran them last week up in Tulsa, but they beat us on a hole shot, so we're hoping for a rematch and maybe we can get some redemption.
Okay, Mike, you got Gledhill first round. You guys are running pretty close.
Yeah.
ET.
Yeah, we're pretty close. I think we got something figured out here for him, so
a little
see
change.
what happens. Yeah.
A little surprise.
Yeah, a little different than yesterday.
Okay, well, good luck. We'll see you in top end.
Perfect, thank you.
Joey Sternati, you get the bike with the blower.
Yeah, I got the mean machine here. If he ever gets that thing figured out, we're all in trouble. But we got a good tune-up in it. Rose put me a good clutch in it. Yesterday we went out there and ran a 61, put a hole out at 5.3. I was off the throttle. We ran low 60, low 330, low 8th mile. So let's see if we can put one out to the end this time.
Why'd you put out the hole? What caused that?
Well, we're just putting way too much fuel. We're putting over 6 gallons per minute in it, and this little motor, we're trying to figure out what it wants, and we're getting closer.
Well, round number one is what it all comes down to. Boy, Sternati has just stepped it up.
Yes, he has, and we got to step up to get him.
Can you get all the way down a quarter mile?
We struggled in our first qualifying attempt and hurt some engine parts. We got it all put back together. We just tested it. It sounds extremely well, but only God knows the answer to that. We're going to find out here real quick.
He says he put a hole out, not going to do it this time.
Well, this weather is tricky and this track is tricky, and you really got to be on your game here, and we're going to see if we can give him some trouble. We'll see.
Okay, you're in the show. You get Grimes the first round.
Lucky me, huh? Nothing like getting the king first off.
So can we make some adjustments, get this thing into sixes?
Oh yeah, we've been sixes plenty before, but really struggling this weekend with the clutch, and we hopped it up a little bit. We'll see what we got for him.
Maybe put a whole shot on it?
Well, yeah, we try and do that every time.
This edition of Inside Drag Racing is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology. Precision Turbo, the world's foremost manufacturer of high-performance aftermarket turbochargers. And by Aeromotive. We know it, we race it, we live it.
Welcome back to Inside Drag Racing. Folks, you are looking at probably one of the cleanest Harley-Davidson top fuel motorcycles I have ever seen, or any bike for that matter. But this one's very unusual. This is Jason Pridemore who built this bike. Would you believe? Supercharged? Are you kidding me?
You got to have some fun in life.
Yeah, no kidding. I don't think anybody's tried that before. But you've been running this bike pretty quick in the eights.
Yes, we hold the national record. We just ran a 4:02 at 193 mile an hour, which is the fastest Harley pass in the U.S. We're trying to make it to the quarter mile here and get this thing to run happy. We've been struggling a little bit, but I think we got something for him here today. We'll see.
Yeah, no kidding. How big's the motor?
This 142-inch V-twin.
Okay, but it's all billet block and everything. Tell me about what's inside the engine.
Well, basically, it's got the same rods as a top fuel car, same piston combination as a top fuel car. We run a lot less compression compared to the aspirated bikes here since we're supercharged. And we try to force basically 2 atmospheres into this engine so it mimics like it's a 280 cubic inch engine in a 142-inch shell.
All right, let's talk a little bit about the blower. You actually have a Roots-type blower here.
This is actually a screw compressor out of Sweden. This is an Autorotor 2.1 HPS.
Okay.
And this is the same compressor like Larry McBride and all the big blown Jap bikes run.
All right, and you did a little something special with the way you're driving it.
Yes, we actually built a gearbox here to switch the rotation to where it would run right-hand rotation, just like a car or how Larry and them run theirs. And it provides a lot better efficiency, a lot less trouble with driving it with everything being so wide. We wanted to try to keep it looking nice and neat and, you know, to where it looks like an arrowhead when you look at the front of this thing, like it's going to cut through the air.
It probably is. Do I see Magnetos over there?
Yes, that is a twin Vertex Magneto setup there. Basically, it runs directly off the exhaust cams. You have one mag running front and rear cylinder, and then another mag runs the other side, basically. And it's 2 plugs per cylinder.
How do you time it out? How's it timed?
Well, I basically run a degree wheel right off the crankshaft, and I statically set them with a buzz box, but then once we fire it on alcohol, we sit there and look at them with a timing light, just like a car does, and make sure that they're where we want them and feel that we're happy, and then we'll see if it works out.
And no transmission, you're direct drive.
Yeah, I always believed that transmission was an interruption, especially with these V-twins, because they make a lot of power, and they're kind of like a jackhammer when they're running. When you interrupt that power, it's usually not friendly to that rear tire. So we're just trying to gradually apply the power and trying to get this motor in an upper RPM to where the pulses aren't so hard to that rear tire, so we can catapult it in another area.
How many discs did it take to transfer all that?
That's a triple disc AFT. That's a 9-inch version clutch that's in there, and that's basically made by AFT out of California.
Okay, Boy, interesting bike and something very unusual. You'll be qualifying here in just a few minutes. Have you ever had a full quarter mile on it?
No, I've struggled with trying to get this bike through the years, not only learning how to ride it, but learning how to tune it, because I really don't have nobody to help me with it, and I have to try to, within my means, slowly creep up on it. We've gotten to that 8th mile. We ran a 6:32, but only at 183 mile an hour. We've only really made it to about 850 foot under full power. If I could get my way, if I could get to 1,100 foot, you might see a teen today, or possibly an O, but you know, God willing, we'll see what happens.
And about what percentage of nitro are you going to run?
Approximately 90%. Yeah.
Okay. And you have any guesstimate as to what kind of horsepower you're making here?
Now, I would say this bike, for the weight of it, and of course with a big rider on it like me, it's probably somewhere in that neighborhood, right around 1,200 horsepower when everything's happy.
1,200 horsepower, folks, on 2 wheels. Look at the massive slick he's going to try and hook up with. And as you know, with a lot of these bikes, they leave the starting line. They have no steering. You know how they steer them? They lean. Not for me. We'll be back with more Inside Drag Racing. We're in Top Fuel Harley Land.
This week's ARP quarter mile quiz question comes from Jason in Miami, Florida. Jason wants to know, how much force does your rear wing exert down? This week's ARP quarter mile quiz question comes from Jason in Miami, Florida. Jason wants to know, how much force does your rear wing exert down? With the ARP quarter mile quiz answer is Antron Brown.
Jason, that's a great question. Well, it does all depends on where we're at, how dense the air is. It could vary from 4,000 pounds of downforce all the way to 6,000 pounds of downforce. And our wing's very adjustable. The center element's adjustable all the way up to the upper wicker. So we'll adjust that for track to track. When the track gets real tight and it's not slippery, like at a night session, we'll loosen the cart, but we'll take wing out of it. The hotter it gets and more slimier, we'll put more wing to help push the tires into the surface to get more traction on those slimier tracks. But great question, and if it wasn't for those bad boys, we'll be going airborne.
Welcome back to Inside Drag Racing, covering the Top Fuel Harleys this week. And let's catch up with the #1 qualifier, Tommy Grimes. Boy, nice number, huh? Looks like you got the guys covered by 3/10.
I know. I couldn't believe it when it was so smooth down there. You would think, that was kind of slow. And the boys told me I went at 6:29. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. So the boys here do a great job for me.
So the idea is don't change nothing, just keep doing that.
Well, I think they're going to turn it down a little bit for this round and then step it up as we go, because Bristol's always been good to me, so I want to make sure I'm here on the finals.
Yeah, and you got Seaman who ran a 7, so.
Yeah, well, we don't take anybody lightly. We all have our days, so we're not going to count our chickens yet, so we're just going to wait and see what happens.
Okay, well, folks, you know what? It's just about time for round #1.
The burnouts begin. The Ray Price Harley-Davidson machine. Saw the folks from Ray Price Harley out here having a great time. And Tommy Grimes, #1 in the world in the Screaming Eagle Harley-Davidson Top Fuel Harley Championship. #1 in the world, #1 qualifier. Gonna have to deal with Julian Seaman on track right now. Winner gets a bye run into the final. It doesn't get bigger than this. Tommy Grimes on the Uno side. Off and running. Huge hole shot for Julian Seaman. Massive. But look at Tommy Grimes. The bike is bucking up on the rear tire and runs 6:39.5, 227 miles per hour. And the parachute deploys. And Tommy Grimes going to bring that machine to a stop. Tommy Grimes wins the race. Julian Seaman had a hole shot, but runs 8:10 at 168. Ron Gledhill. Ron in the yellow machine on the Uno side of the racetrack, and Mike Pellrine. Mike, 2011 weekend chassis. Building it on the weekend. At Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, Canada. Ron Gledhill's out of Cochise, Arizona. It's our next pair. Roll to the starting line. This is for the semifinal, 6 on the property to get to the round of 4. Staged up, and the race is on. Mike Pellrine trying to get by a reaction time advantage of Ron Gledhill. Gledhill wins it 6:51.9 at 213 miles per hour, and the team from Cochise, Arizona wins it. Check out the parachute on the back of Ron Gledhill's machine, and brings that nitro-fueled Harley-Davidson slow enough to make that turn down on the big end here at Bristol Dragway, Thunder Valley. Thank you very much, Alan Reinhardt. Who's ready for a little top fuel Harley? Joey Sternati, Food City side of the racetrack, Fort Myers Marine on board. The folks from Naples, Florida are all out here to watch Joey going up against Jason Pridemore in the 2010 Gunslinger Racing Puppet Chassis. Talking to Mike Lewis from DSR. It's like I'm here to watch that machine right there. Supercharged on nitro, Jason Pridemore. He is staged, waiting on Joey Sternati. Wife Rose behind him. Here we go. Tire spin for Sternati. He is pulling out there, but here comes Jason Pridemore in that supercharged machine. 6:44.7, 177.91 miles per hour, and Jason Pridemore wins it. 6:67.8 at 189 for Joey Sternati. Good, but not good enough. Top fuel Harley-Davidson getting it on.
Okay, no more qualifier. You get the buy. So do you stand on it as a time run? What do you do?
Yeah, I think they're going to stand on it, see what we can do for it. You know, I think we go out there and push it, we'll know how far we can go. We went out and made a nice lap that time, so we know that, you know, we might can step on it a little bit more, and if it don't hold it, you know, we know what to do for next round, just back it down a little bit.
So you turn the buy into an advantage.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's all about. You know, it's not my fault nobody showed up, so we're just having a great time.
Now, usually you come down the pit area, they're trying to make the bike go faster. You're bleeding the brakes.
Yeah, we had a hard time stopping for that pass, so it's probably pretty important that we get the brakes right.
What, did you have some air in the line or what?
No, the fluid is just burnt.
No kidding, so you got to replace it.
Yeah, it's a regular maintenance thing that we overlook, so you'll know when you're not going to stop.
All right, you got the supercharged bike next time.
Go ahead, Amanda. Yeah, we got something for them. We'll see if we can get them at the finish line.
A 44, did you run all the way through this time?
No, I actually chopped it probably about 800, 850 foot. You can see the pipe, she was getting lean. But I could hear him coming, so I got back in it to just try to cool it a little bit. Now, we richened it a little bit, took a few degrees of lead out of the timing, and we're going to see if we can play with him here, again here and go a little farther, but only time will tell.
Yeah, you'll have to. He ran a 51.
Yeah, I know, so we got to step it up, and I got to get on the tree a little bit better here and wake up, quit taking a nap.
This edition of Inside Drag Racing is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in racing fastener technology, the School of Automotive Machinists, education at full speed, and by Steel Rubber, quality crafted rubber parts and weather stripping.
North Carolina team. We've made many a run down the drag strip here at Thunder Valley. These bikes get on a solid pass. You'll see it touch the front tire down there past the 8th mile. He did that earlier in qualifying. That's what earned him the #1 spot at 6.29 seconds. There it is. Look at that thing carrying the front, carrying the front. Bounced it once, bounced it twice, 6:36. Look at the speed, 227 miles an hour. Tommy Grimes, I got a lot of respect for you. Look at him smoking his shoes trying to stop that thing. Oh, man. Tommy Grimes had his feet down in the top end. He looked like Fred Flintstone smoking his boots trying to stop that bike. Jason Pridemore out of Ohio. That's the gunslinger in the left side. Jason, I don't think has made a full pull yet this weekend, but that bike really runs hard through the middle. Ron Gledhill, he's been over 200 miles an hour on the yellow bike, and you might have to do that to stay out in front of Jason. Staged up and ready. And Ron's bike quit. Jason Pridemore once again closed the throttle a little early, 6.685, 180 the speed. And for Gledhill, when it was time to crank the throttle, something down there just broke. The bike moves about 2 feet and parks. That means Jason will come back and run Tommy Grimes and Ferran Gledhill all the way in from Arizona in a mechanical malfunction.
Well, we had the time run. What did we learn?
Well, I don't know. We learned that it'll hold what we put to it, so I hope we brought enough for Jason, and we'll just see what happens. It's Father's Day, so I got my wife and kids, so maybe it'll turn out great. And if not, I'll be happy for Jason.
He slowed down a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if what happened. I hadn't had the opportunity to talk to him yet, but I'm sure we'll find out in the finals where he slows down or not.
Well, it actually slowed a little bit.
We tried putting a little fuel in it, and all I can say is she might be a little hurt, but we're going to put a little more fuel volume in it to try to seal up where the leak down is ailing. But we're going to check it here to see what's really happening, because gauges don't lie, only people do.
Showing you a view from high above the starting line here at Thunder Valley. For those of you listening at home, the weather conditions are changing by the second. Jason Pridemore, slap on the back for motivation. Ellie Pridemore gives him a slap on the back, and we are getting ready. Final round. Top Fuel Harley-Davidson. Tommy Grimes and Jason Pridemore. Tommy Grimes is the world champ. He'll be last to stage. Here come the lights. Reaction time advantage going to Tommy Grimes. Tommy Grimes wins it with a 6:39.1 at 206 miles per hour in what was a great race. 6:48.5 at 2:03 for Jason Pridemore. Tommy Grimes got a huge chunk of the lead at the start, and the Ray Price Harley-Davidson Harley wins it at Thunder Valley.
Well, Tommy Grimes took a 6:39 in the final round to notch another victory out here, and I got to be honest, it's kind of like you guys are playing chess and the other teams are playing checkers. You guys got a handle on this bike.
Well, we thought we did. It blew up right at the end, about 1,000 foot. The motor went dead, and I'm like, oh my God. Luckily enough, it made it through the finish line, but I knew Jason was going to be tough, so thanks out for NHRA and all the guys at my shop that does a great job for us.
Well, congratulations again, man. Good luck, and we'll see you down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
There you have it, folks. Your Top Fuel Harley winner at Bristol is Tommy Grimes, running a 6.391 and a speed of 206.67 in the finals. Not a bad time or speed. Imagine holding on to a bike at over 200 miles an hour. Join us next week as we're at Summit Motorsports Park in Norwalk, Ohio for the Ohio Outlaw Gassers. See you then.